Losing a spouse is among the most heart-wrenching experiences anyone can face. It's not just the heavy burden of grief, but also the flood of decisions that suddenly land in your lap. In such moments, it's tempting to make choices driven by pain, loneliness, or external pressure, but some decisions can lead to avoidable regrets, financial struggles, or emotional setbacks that make recovery even tougher. The reality is, while grief is deeply personal, there are certain things you should always carefully consider before agreeing to. In this video, we'll explore 5 things you should decline after losing a spouse, common mistakes many people make without realizing they aren't truly prepared, only to discover later the added complications they bring. These pitfalls can make an already challenging time even harder, and by understanding them beforehand, you can safeguard your emotional, financial, and physical well-being. Stay with me until the end, because these insights aren't just about dodging errors, they're about ensuring you navigate this chapter of your life with clarity, dignity, and the support you deserve. Let's begin. Number 1. Making big financial decisions too soon. One of the most frequent errors people make after losing a spouse is diving into major financial decisions too quickly. It's understandable. Suddenly, you're dealing with bank accounts, insurance policies, investments, and possibly the dilemma of whether to keep or sell your home. Amid grief, it might feel like taking swift action will bring stability or a sense of control, but the truth is, grief clouds judgment, and making irreversible financial choices too soon can lead to regrets later on. When emotions are intense, decisions that seem sensible at the time might not be the best for your long-term future. Many widows and widowers feel pushed by well-meaning friends, financial advisors, or their own urgency to sell their house, relocate, or make large investments. However, the months following a spouse's loss are a time for emotional adjustment, not financial risk-taking. The wisest step you can take is to pause, giving yourself time to process your loss before making choices that could shape the rest of your life. Consider 74-year-old Margaret. After losing her husband, she was advised by several people to downsize her home immediately. The idea seemed logical: less space to manage, lower costs, and a fresh start. So, within months, she sold the house they'd shared for 40 years and moved into a smaller apartment in a new town. But once the initial shock of loss faded, she realized she'd acted out of panic. She missed her familiar surroundings, her neighbors, and the comfort her home provided. Looking back, she wished she had waited longer before making such a drastic move. Financial decisions aren't limited to real estate. Many newly widowed individuals become targets for financial predators who see vulnerability as an opportunity, whether through unsolicited investment offers, high-pressure sales tactics, or even well-intentioned but misguided advice from friends. It's vital to be cautious. If someone is pressing you to sign documents, make a large withdrawal, or invest quickly, take a step back. The best financial decisions are rarely made in haste. Another common misstep is giving away money or assets too soon. Grief often sparks a desire to help others, children, grandchildren, charities, or close friends. While generosity is admirable, making large financial gifts or dividing assets too early can leave you vulnerable later. What feels manageable now might not be sustainable in the years ahead. Before making any major financial moves, it's wise to consult a trusted professional who understands your long-term needs and can help you plan carefully. The first year after losing a spouse should focus on stabilization, not drastic financial changes. Experts often suggest the 1-year rule, which advises waiting at least a year before making any irreversible financial decisions. This gives time for the initial emotional shock to subside, allowing you to think more clearly about what's truly best for your future. Losing a spouse is already one of life's hardest transitions. Don't add stress from financial missteps that could have been avoided. Take your time, seek trusted guidance, and remember there's no hurry. The best decisions are made with clarity, not grief. Number 2. Isolating yourself from friends and family. After losing a spouse, it's natural to crave solitude. Grief is deeply personal, and sometimes being alone feels like the only way to process the pain. While taking time for yourself is important, completely cutting off friends and family can lead to a deeper sense of loneliness, one that makes healing more difficult. Many people fall into a pattern of withdrawal, telling themselves they just need more time, but the reality is, isolation can quickly become a habit that's hard to break. Human connection is vital for emotional well-being, especially during times of loss. When people distance themselves for too long, they often experience heightened feelings of sadness, anxiety, and even physical health decline. Studies show that prolonged social isolation can weaken the immune system, raise blood pressure, and even shorten lifespan. In contrast, staying connected, even in small ways, can help ease the emotional burden and provide a much-needed sense of support. Take 78-year-old Walter, for example. When his wife of 52 years passed away, he stopped answering calls, skipped family gatherings, and rarely left the house. He told himself he wasn't in the mood to talk, that people wouldn't understand his grief, and that being alone was easier. Months passed, and instead of feeling better, he felt worse. His days blurred together, his energy dropped, and his appetite changed. It wasn't until a neighbor insisted he come over for coffee that things shifted. That one conversation turned into a weekly habit, then a small routine of meeting friends. The more he engaged, the lighter he felt, not because the pain vanished, but because he realized he wasn't alone in caring. The key isn't to force yourself into big social events before you're ready, it's about taking small steps to stay connected. Whether it's answering a call, taking a short walk with a friend, or joining a support group, these small actions can prevent you from slipping into deep loneliness. If you don't feel like talking, that's okay. Simply being around people, even if it's just listening to a conversation, can remind you that life goes on and support is there when you need it. Another mistake many make is pushing away those who care most. Grief can bring irritability, exhaustion, or a sense that others don't understand what you're going through, but completely shutting people out can create unnecessary distance between you and those who genuinely want to help. Your loved ones may not have the perfect words, but their presence alone can offer comfort. Letting them in gradually can provide solace, even when words fall short. It's also valuable to seek support from those who understand your experience. Connecting with others who've faced similar loss, through a grief support group, a community gathering, or an online forum, can be incredibly healing. Speaking with people who truly get what you're going through can validate your feelings and reassure you that you're not alone. Grief doesn't follow a schedule, and there's no right way to heal, but staying completely isolated only makes the journey harder. Finding small ways to reconnect with others at your own pace can offer strength, support, and even moments of unexpected joy. You don't have to carry the weight of loss alone. There are people who care, who want to be there for you, and who can help you move forward, one step at a time. If you're still watching and finding this helpful, comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. Not subscribed? I suggest subscribing and hitting the bell so you don't miss updates. Your support keeps us creating content to inform and inspire. Let's move on. Number 3. Ignoring your own health and well-being. When a spouse passes away, many people become so consumed by grief that they neglect their own health. It's easy to skip doctor's appointments, miss meals, or let daily routines slip when you're grappling with loss. Some even feel guilty about self-care, as if focusing on their health somehow lessens the depth of their love or grief. But the truth is, neglecting your well-being doesn't bring you closer to the one you lost, it only makes your journey forward more difficult. Grief impacts the body in ways many don't realize. Studies show that losing a spouse increases the risk of heart issues, weakened immune function, and even cognitive decline. The stress of grief can cause high blood pressure, disrupted sleep, and changes in appetite. Some lose interest in eating, while others turn to unhealthy comfort foods. Over time, these changes can seriously affect both physical and mental health. The key isn't to expect yourself to feel normal right away, but to make small choices that keep your body strong as you navigate this challenging time. Take 81-year-old James, for example. After his wife passed, he stopped cooking meals for himself, telling himself he wasn't hungry. When he did eat, it was usually something quick and processed. Within months, he felt weaker, struggled to sleep, and was constantly fatigued. His daughter noticed the change and encouraged him to eat regular meals again, even if he lacked an appetite. Once he made small adjustments, like preparing simple, nutritious foods and drinking more water, he noticed his energy levels improved, his mood stabilized, and he was better equipped to handle the emotions of grief. Self-care isn't just about food, it includes movement, sleep, and emotional health. Many who lose a spouse stop exercising, not because they don't want to stay active, but because they no longer have a partner to do it with. However, staying physically active, even a short daily walk, has been shown to reduce stress, boost mood, and improve longevity. Joining a local walking group or exercise class can offer both physical benefits and much-needed social connection. Another common error is skipping medical checkups. Many widows and widowers delay routine doctor visits or seeking care because they feel too overwhelmed, but this is when health care is more crucial than ever. If you haven't seen a doctor recently, make an appointment. Regular checkups, managing existing conditions, and staying on top of medications can significantly impact how you feel physically and emotionally. Mental health is just as critical as physical health. Grief can lead to depression, anxiety, and feelings of hopelessness, especially when paired with isolation. If you're struggling, don't hesitate to seek help. Talking to a counselor, joining a grief support group, or confiding in a trusted friend can provide relief and reassurance. You don't have to go through this alone, and seeking support isn't a sign of weakness, it's a step toward healing. Your spouse would have wanted you to care for yourself. Honoring their memory doesn't mean sacrificing your well-being, it means living in a way that allows you to find moments of peace and strength. It's okay to grieve, to take your time, and to feel the weight of loss, but amidst it all, remember your health still matters. You're still here, and your well-being is worth protecting. Number 4. Rushing into a new relationship. Losing a spouse creates an emotional void that can feel unbearable. For many, the loneliness that follows is one of the hardest parts of grief, and the idea of finding companionship again might seem like the only way to cope. While there's nothing wrong with wanting connection, one of the most common mistakes widows and widowers make is entering a new relationship before they've fully processed their grief. The emotions of loss can create a deep need for comfort, but making major romantic decisions too soon can lead to more heartache, confusion, and regrets. Grief doesn't follow a timeline, and everyone heals at their own pace. Some take years before considering dating again, while others feel ready sooner. But when emotions are raw, the risk of entering a relationship for the wrong reasons is high. Many unknowingly seek a partner not because they're truly ready, but to fill the void, avoid loneliness, or escape the pain. These relationships often start with intense emotions but lack the stability needed for long-term success. Take 72-year-old Barbara, for example. Just months after losing her husband of nearly 50 years, she met someone through a friend and quickly started a relationship. At first, it felt like the companionship she desperately needed, someone to talk to, share meals with, and distract her from the overwhelming loneliness. But as time passed, she realized she wasn't truly ready. The relationship moved faster than she expected, and soon she felt trapped in something that didn't feel right. Eventually, she had to step back and take time for herself, but looking back, she wished she had given herself more time before making such a big decision. A new relationship should be about genuine connection, not just emotional relief. After decades with a spouse, the habits, routines, and shared memories are deeply ingrained. Jumping into a relationship before processing that loss can lead to unfair comparisons, unrealistic expectations, and feelings of guilt. Some widows and widowers struggle with conflicting emotions, wanting to move forward but feeling they're betraying the person they lost. These feelings are natural but need to be acknowledged and worked through before starting something new. Another concern is vulnerability to those with ill intentions. Unfortunately, some people exploit those who are grieving, offering emotional support only to manipulate or take advantage financially. Scammers and even well-meaning but opportunistic individuals often target widowed seniors, knowing they may be emotionally fragile and seeking companionship. This is why it's crucial to trust your instincts and take your time. If someone pressures you to commit quickly, make financial decisions, or distance yourself from loved ones, those are red flags to heed. This doesn't mean avoiding love or companionship forever. Many widows and widowers find meaningful relationships later in life, but the healthiest ones happen when both individuals are truly ready, when the decision comes from a place of healing, not desperation. Time and reflection are key. Taking time to process grief, rediscover your personal identity, and find peace in being alone before seeking a new partner makes a world of difference. If you choose to date again, go at your own pace, take time to understand what you truly want in a relationship, and ensure you're entering it for the right reasons. Talk with trusted friends or family about your feelings, and don't feel pressured by others' opinions, whether they think it's too soon or that you shouldn't be alone. The decision is yours alone. Ultimately, grief and healing are deeply personal journeys. There's no rush, no deadline, no rulebook. The most important thing is to care for yourself first, so if and when the time comes, any new relationship you enter is built on a foundation of strength, peace, and true companionship. If you're still watching and finding this insightful, comment number 4 below. Not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell. Your support keeps us creating content to inform and inspire. Let's continue. Number 5. Holding on to every possession without letting go. One of the toughest things after losing a spouse is deciding what to do with their belongings. Every item holds memories, and the thought of letting go can feel like losing them all over again. Many widows and widowers struggle with this, keeping every piece of clothing, every personal item, and every small object exactly as it was, fearing that changing anything means erasing the life they shared. While it's natural to hold on, keeping everything indefinitely can sometimes make grief heavier, hindering emotional healing and the ability to move forward. Holding on to some sentimental items is perfectly fine. There's no rule saying you must get rid of everything, but keeping an entire home untouched for years, leaving their closet as it was, or avoiding any changes can turn a house into a shrine of grief rather than a place of comfort. Over time, instead of bringing peace, it can become a daily reminder of loss, making it harder to adjust to a new chapter of life. Take 76-year-old Harold, for example. After his wife of 55 years passed, he left everything as it was. Her shoes stayed by the door, her clothes remained in the closet, and her favorite chair was untouched. At first, it felt like a way to keep her close, but as months passed, he realized that walking past her untouched belongings daily kept him stuck emotionally. He wasn't ready to part with everything, but when he slowly started donating some items, keeping only a few meaningful ones, he felt relief. It wasn't about forgetting, it was about making room for healing. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or loving less, it means giving yourself space to breathe. Instead of forcing sudden changes, start small. Choose a few meaningful keepsakes, a piece of jewelry, a handwritten note, a favorite photo, and create a special space for them. Then, when you're ready, begin sorting through other belongings, deciding what truly holds meaning and what is simply taking up space. Another mistake is feeling pressured by others to get rid of things before you're ready. Friends or family may mean well, suggesting you clear things out or move on, but this decision should always be on your timeline. If you're not ready, don't rush. At the same time, be mindful that holding on to everything out of guilt or fear may keep you in a place of sadness longer than necessary. There's also an emotional balance in repurposing rather than just removing. Some find comfort in turning an old shirt into a quilt, transforming letters into a memory book, or passing sentimental items to loved ones who will cherish them. This way, their presence remains, but in a way that brings warmth instead of sorrow. Ultimately, grief isn't about things, it's about love, memories, and the bond you shared. No object can replace a person, but clinging to everything they owned won't bring them back either. Letting go in small, thoughtful ways isn't an act of forgetting, it's a step toward honoring their memory while making space for your own healing. Moving forward doesn't mean moving away from them, it means carrying them with you in a way that allows both love and life to coexist. Final thoughts. Losing a spouse is one of life's most profound and painful experiences. It changes everything, how you live, how you think, even how you see the future. But amidst grief, every decision you make during this time can either support or hinder your healing. That's why saying no to these 5 things, rushing financial decisions, isolating yourself, neglecting your health, jumping into a new relationship too soon, and holding on to everything without allowing for change, can make a significant difference in your ability to move forward with strength and clarity. Grief doesn't come with a timeline, and there's no right or wrong way to process it, but one thing is certain: avoiding these common pitfalls can help you navigate this chapter in a way that protects both your heart and your future. Healing doesn't mean forgetting, and moving forward doesn't mean leaving your spouse behind. It means honoring their memory in a way that allows you to continue living with purpose, peace, and even joy in the moments ahead. What resonated with you the most? Which of these insights feels most important for your own journey? We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your thoughts matter to us, so don't hesitate to share. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us keep creating content to inform and inspire. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.